we're going to be taking a rough piece of lumber like this poplar and turn it into a cribbage board. And to do so, we're going to use our CNC machine, the LongMill CNC machine that we have here. If you haven't seen our previous videos, click on it here or in the description. We have some videos about our CNC machine, why you should buy it, should you buy it. We're going to be using the laser engraver that we have, the CO2 laser, to engrave the writing. You can do it with the CNC machine as well, but we find we get a little bit crisper look to it when we use the laser. The majority of the content will be using this equipment. Now, I know what you're going to say, Paul. We don't have a CNC machine, or I don't have a laser engraver. Is there another way of doing it? Yes, there are. I'll show you some techniques at the end of the video, because we were there at one point as well. And just knowing by using, a simple drill and using some what we call transfer techniques, we can certainly use those techniques to make the same kind of cribbage board. We're going to get into putting this board in the CNC machine and drill some holes. And then we're going to clean up the board, because I actually will put this in rough, because it is actually fairly easy to clean after. I find that I'm doing a lot of cleaning after I do the CNC anyways, just to make sure that it's clean. And it just makes the job of clamping it down into the CNC machine much easier when you still have the extra wood on your board than to try and, clamp it down when it's really already finished. And then you don't want to put all that work into it right from the beginning if it does mess up for whatever reason. So we're going to go with the rough lumber in the CNC. Let's get to it.
So it doesn't look all that symmetrical, but it'll work quite well. It's not going to go anywhere. It's nice and tight and snug. And it actually digs right into the wood. So that's how tight it is. And the cribbage board is going to stop about there anyway, so I've got lots of room. I'm not going to be causing any issues.
Okay, so we've taken the piece of wood out of the CNC. It's made all the holes that are required, as you can see here. Of course, it's still rough. And of course, there's a lot of excess wood here at this end. This end is not straight either in the way of angle cut. So I'm going to square that off. Also take some of the corners off and making sure that I'm looking at it. I'll measure the distance, from the edge to the edge. I'll probably just clean off the edge here. And we'll be routing that out nice and round after anyways. But so I do have to do some cutting down. A little bit excess wood on this piece of board here. So we'll do that first. And then we'll do some cleanup with the sanding and routing. Let's get to it. All right, so I got it cut down to size. So now that the distances between them, from the holes to the bottom is the same as distance from the holes to the top and the sides. So it's nice and symmetrical. So next I'm going to clean up the board. I get all this rough stuff off of here. And for that, I'm going to use our flat master just to get the majority off of it. Then I'll be using the orbital sander from Festool that we have to do the finishing, and I'm gonna make the corners a bit more rounded as well, just to give it a little, a little bit less harsh edges, of course. So I'm not sure how much of a round I'm gonna do, but I'm just gonna do it with the sander. I'm not gonna do anything fancy. I'll just probably use something round. Oh, anything round like this to sort of mark off how much of a corner I want to take off. I'll just pencil that, but first I'll do the finishing because I'll lose my pencil mark. I'll do the finishing on the flat master, and then the first turned on. I think it's plugged in. It is. I haven't changed this sandpaper in a long time. You can see it's a mess. I've been using it as a, as a workstation quite a bit lately. And so I'll start with the good side. I'll start with the back side first in case I mess up the good side. So you can see just with 2 passes, it's already taken off the majority of the rough stuff that used to be there. I should have showed you it before. I'll do 2 more passes and you see the difference. I did 3 passes. There we go. We're good there. And then after that, I'll be using the Festool to clean it right up. So I'll do all the other sides, edges, sides. I will go over to the Festool a little bit. I think we're pretty good, ready for the orbital sander. There's a couple little spots there, but I'm not going to worry about that. Took all those dark marks off that were on there. You know what? I'm going to do 2 more. Yeah, that's good. That's perfect. All right. On to using the Festool. All right, so I'm still going to use the flat master as a workbench here for my sanding. First, I'm going to change my sandpaper because I was doing some really sort of renovation style sanding with that piece there. It's completely done. Going with 150 grit to start with. That's the nice thing with the flat master. You can use it as a workbench. But just to keep it from scratching the wood, I'll just put a bit of a rubber here just so that it does not scratch the opposite side. You know that thing. I love that sander. I love the fact that you don't think about the vacuum. It just starts up when you're starting to sand. It shuts off 10 seconds after, and you have practically no dust left blowing around. It's like it apparently picks up 97% of all dust that's created. So it definitely works that way. When you're sanding, you don't have to worry about the dust flying up. I forgot to sand this edge. I just did it with the Festool, just because I still have to round off the edges, but I didn't want to have too bumpy when I put it through the router, so I just smoothed it out a little bit. This side was already nice and smooth with a cut, or vice versa, can't remember. So next, I'll probably just do the edges, the corners here. I'll just mark them. I'm going to do it again with the Festool, just to give that little personal touch. Once you do the routing and everything, it's not really going to show that much anyways. And so then once that's done, I'm not going to do the finish sanding yet because I still have to use the laser to burn in the start finish writing on there, and probably do a little bit of a design around it as well, just a sort of a scoring around it. And then I'll do the finishing, and then it'll be pretty well done. Okay, so I'm just going to use the tape to do an edge here.
like so, just to get a little corner mark that I'm going to sand out. So I'll do that for all 4. Okay, so I sand it off just the corner here, like so. All right, so there we got all 4 corners sanded down, nice and rounded. Let's get to the laser. Okay, let's just measure this. Here, we'll open up file. The plastic cribbage board. Voila. I'm just going to do one word at a time. I'm just placing them in Lightburn where I think it should be based off where the last piece was. So I'll give that a try. Frames, start, there. Okay, so that just about does it. Think we got ourselves a board. So I'm just going to give it another little sanding just to get the little bit of a burn marks off of there. I trimmed off this edge just so that it looks more symmetrical. And let's just clean this up. I'll just move over to the router now just to do those edges. While I have the laser all set up already and zeroed everything else, I'm just going to put our logo at the back. All right, so next step, I'll just wet it with some water just to lift the grain, sand it down again a little bit, and then we'll put the finishing touch. I won't bother showing you that. That's, you know, everyone has their own techniques and whatnot. I'm just going to do a spray on, a few coats. And now, before we move on to showing you the final product, I did mention at the beginning of the video that I would show you options in regards to how you can make this similar type of cribbage board without using a CNC or a laser. So to make the holes, instead of using a CNC, you can get something like this, which is the cribbage board template. The other option is actually you just print on a piece of paper that same, just a cribbage board image of all the holes and then tape it down and use that to drill through. This is a little bit better because it actually holds your drill bit in its place when you clamp this down onto your board. So this is an option. Now it's $38.95, so it's, it's quite costly if you're just doing one board. But if you're doing multiple boards, then over time it does pay for itself. So this could be a good option. And obviously you can buy these cribbage board templates, probably on many other sites as well. I'll leave some links down below if it's something that you're interested in. As for the option to put on writing or any kind of design on your cribbage board, here we're using a transfer of ink system or technique. Essentially, it's just using your inkjet printer, printing it on a piece of plastic. In this case, I use plastic from, those file dividers that you can, for your binders and so forth. You can also use a wax paper as well. This is nice because you can actually see the image or writing right through the plastic, so you know exactly where you're placing it, and you just sort of rub it in as I'm doing it here. This was for a past project I've done. So there you have it. So if you just use a plastic template or even printout template, as I mentioned, to make your holes, and then using this technique, if you want to do a specific design or whatnot, you can definitely do that.
All right, so we are finished our board. We put our clear coats on and it's nice and smooth and shiny. As you can see here, I'll try to get some better photos as I'm doing this or as I'm talking. And that's one thing about these boards. We find that when we are at the markets and we have these boards, especially with different wood types like the walnut and the cherry and the maple, and people just cannot resist but to stop and touch the wood, touch the boards for whatever reason. It just attracts them. So it's a good tip if you're trying to get some people to notice you at the markets. This might be the way to do it. Just to mix a few of these boards and put them on the front of your table. They might not sell, but you might be able to get their attention to buy other stuff. So yeah, it's just a little tip. Yeah, so it turned out quite well. I hope you enjoyed the idea of using a template as well, just with a drill, and using that ink transfer technique if you want, instead of doing the engraving, to get the writing on your board as well. So, but yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Hope you found this video to be somewhat helpful, if not at least entertaining. If so, I appreciate it if you can hit the like button. And if you want to see some more videos, of course, hit the subscribe button and that notification bell so that you're notified every time we have a new video. We do plan to make some more videos about the CNC machine and about the laser and about anything else that we make here in our workshop or around the house. So we hope to see you here again soon, here at the Dusty Workbench. Thanks.